What is up, guys? James here from the Light of Riga YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be doing a reading for all my Leo sun sign friends. If you're born between the dates of July 23rd and August 22nd, then you're a Leo sun sign, and this reading is for you. In today's video we're going to be doing what I like to call the Halloween or Samhain spread. You know, this time of year of Halloween or of Samhain is a time for a thinning of the veil. It's a time for connectedness to the higher dimensions, greater than ever before. It's the end of the harvest, though no one is really harvesting much these days, unless you're a farmer, okay? But it's a tradition that's lasted for centuries, and it's a great time to check in on your energies and see where you're at. And that's what this spread is intended to do. It's going to take a look at your life, and it's going to tell you what you need to embrace at this time, what you need to let go of, your courages, your fears, what you should celebrate, and what you need to contemplate at this time of Halloween or of Samhain. So it's going to be an eye-opening spread, I hope. Today I'm going to be using the Druicraft Tarot. This is the perfect tarot deck in my opinion for a Samhain type spread, because this deck is based in Druidry and Wicca, which is, you know, the tradition of Samhain. So I think it's going to be a great match for this reading. I've got some crystal friends here. I've got my sodalite sphere, which I have with me on every reading. I've also got my sunstone sphere here today to, looks like a pumpkin sort of, to bring some vibrant energy. And I've also got indigo gabbro, also known as mystic merlinite. And this crystal is about bridging the gap between the third and the fourth and higher dimensions. So I thought it'd be perfect to help us bring down some information today from the higher realms. So if you would, give me a moment to center myself and ask the tarot cards a question. What are the energies surrounding Leo sun signs at the time of Halloween or Samhain? Okay, that ought to do it. We will cut the deck and deal out 6 cards. Alright, and while we're at it, we're going to consult the Druid Animal Oracle, another Druid themed deck, and we're going to ask it what message it has for Leo sun signs at the time of Halloween or Samhain. What message for Leo sun signs at the time of Halloween or Samhain? And we will take a look at that card at the end of the reading. Alright, one thing to note before we start this reading off is that this spread is split up into 2 sides. The top side here is the light side, or the positives, and the bottom half here is the dark side, or the negatives. I feel like these crystals are just all up in the mix. Okay, I appreciate you crystals, but not now. Alright, so let's look at these cards individually and see what they have to say. The first card we're going to look at is the Life card, and it represents what to embrace at this time of Halloween and or Samhain. We've got the 7 of Pentacles. This card to me is about hard work paying off and harvesting, right? This is the end of the harvest, and this card is about harvesting. What do you know? Okay, so it's really apropos. That kind of rhymed, but this card is perfect for Samhain. I mean, it's a time to kind of reap the rewards of all the hard work that you've put in and really enjoy them and feel the benefits of them. So I think what you need to hold on to at this time, what you need to embrace, is the willingness to allow. We have so many blockages that kind of prevent abundance from coming to us, and it's all sorts of different reasons. And this is a general overall reading, so I can't say exactly what your blockages are to abundance, but we have blockages. Maybe we don't think we're good enough, or we don't deserve it, or we don't offer enough value to the world. But this card is saying that you are valuable, you are worth it, and you know, as far as abundance goes, and this is not just money, abundance comes in so many different forms. It's time, it's love, it's energy. Abundance is what you deserve, and that's what you need to realize. And it's in that realization that you will allow it to come. So this card is saying that you need to embrace your value, you need to understand your value, and you need to allow the rewards from that value to enter into your life, because you deserve it. And that's what this card is saying, and that's what you need to embrace, is the allowance. It's saying, yes, I deserve to have the things that I want, because I've worked hard, because, you know, I'm a unique person, because I offer something to the world that's of benefit. And if you are able to allow the universe to shower you with abundance, then it will. And that's what it does. So it's all about being in a state of allowance and trying to figure out what your blockages are. So that's something to hold on to this time of Halloween and Samhain. Now let's move on over to the Death card. And this card represents what to let go of at this time. And we've got the Three of Cups. Dependence on others is the feeling I'm getting. And whether this is relationships, some of us feel like we need to be in a relationship to feel validated about ourselves. Others, this is about friendship, and we need to, you know, have a close-knit community of friends so that we feel like we're worthy and people like us. Or it could be a family, and, you know, we need that love from family because it validates our existence and it shows that we're worth it. But this card is saying that you don't need any of those things to feel that way. You should never need outside validation to make you feel great about yourself. It starts with self-love, and that's what this card is suggesting you need to let go of this month, is let go of that need for validation from outside sources and start focusing on love for yourself. And strangely enough, the more love that you have for yourself, the more other people will love you. It's a strange paradigm that, you know, people searching for love outside of them are doing it in the backwards way. They need to start loving themselves so that other people can love them easier. And so if you feel like you have a dependence on people, and that's not to say you should, forget all these people, you know, they're not part of my life. What I'm trying to say is the dependence on them for your happiness is something that you need to start to cut out at this time. You don't need them. It's great to have them. They enrich your life in so many ways, but they're not the cause of it. They're the effect of your self-love. Okay, so that's what to get let go of this Halloween or this Samhain. Now we're going to move on over here. This card represents your courage, where you are courageous. We've got the Four of Swords. I'm getting the feeling that your courage lies in analyzation, in reflection, in kind of looking at your past, present, and future, and kind of just seeing it with an analytical eye. To me, this card is about reflection. It's about looking at something in an analytical way, in a logical way, and seeing all the elements surrounding it. Why it happened, what good can come of it, how you can tweak it to make it, work for you in your life, that sort of thing. So I do get the feeling that, Leo friends, that your courage here lies in being willing to analyze the self, being willing to analyze your situation. Of course, there's positives and negatives to everything, and you can go overboard on this and start overanalyzing. That's true, but it does take a lot of courage to be able to look at your life in an analytical way. So many of us just go through the motions, and we don't hold ourselves accountable for our actions or the things like that. But I get the feeling that, Leos, you do hold yourselves accountable because you're looking at it from an analytical perspective. And yes, you're not always at fault, but sometimes you are. And that's the reason why I think people don't analyze themselves a lot, because they're afraid to find that they did something wrong, or they felt something wrong, or they were at fault in some way. And but it takes courage to be able to look at that and with an analytical eye, and just not really lie to yourself, and and be honest with yourself to what part you played in the process. So that's very courageous. Keep that up. Don't stop doing that. Don't stop analyzing. Just try not to overanalyze. I don't know where the line lies, but there is a fine line there. So now let's head on over to this card, which represents your fears at this time of Halloween and Samhain. We've got the Five of Wands. Fear of conflict is what I'm getting from this card. The Five of Wands is about conflict, definitely. And so I get the sense here that your fear lies in people not understanding you, people fighting against you, people with opposite viewpoints who kind of will try to slow you down because they see you as a threat, possibly. So I think your fears are of putting yourself out there so much that it causes blowback. And that's hard. It's strange to hear from a Leo, right? Leos are not afraid to put themselves out there, generally. That's a generalization. Of course, not every Leo's like that. And of course, there's rising signs and all sorts of things in your astrology chart that changes a little bit who you are. But for the most part, generally speaking, Leos aren't really that afraid to put themselves out there. But maybe the fear is that people won't like you. Oh, is that a deep fear that you may have, that you're afraid that people are going to not get you, they're going to rebel against you, they're going to fight against you, they're going to cause strife? And if that's a fear, I mean, I guess that's a valid fear, but I don't believe any fears are truly valid when looked in the grand scheme of things. So there's some, I think, shadow work that you could do here. Why do you feel the need for outside validation? Why do you care so much what other people think about you? I'm starting to see a theme in this spread right now. So these are some tough questions, but as we saw, you guys not afraid to ask those questions, are you? Okay, so let's move over to this side. This card represents what to celebrate at this time of Halloween or Samhain. We've got the Three of Wands, a very hopeful card. And I think this card is saying you should celebrate the path you're on. You've done a lot of work to get onto this path, and it's very important that you not just gloss over your accomplishments and really celebrate them and be grateful. See, we see the path here. Be grateful that you found this path and you're on this path and you're going to continue down this path, which leads to a future that you have created in your mind, in your imagination. So celebrate where you've been, celebrate how you've gotten to this point, celebrate being at this point, but also celebrate where you're going. You're on a path that leads somewhere, and that's a very reassuring thing. It feels safe, right? And knowing that, yes, I'm not there yet, but if I put the action in towards this goal, then this goal will be closer. That's a great feeling. Not a lot of people have that. You know, they're either directionless, or they just don't know what actions to take, or they don't know where their path is going. And so that's something to celebrate, that you guys are kind of got things figured out somewhat. I'm not going to go too far overboard and say that you got it all figured out, because you don't. But you got things figured out. At least you're on a path, and that's good. So celebrate that and be happy. All right. This card here represents what to contemplate at this time of Halloween or Samhain. We've got the Prince of Pentacles. Give me a moment with this card. The feeling I'm getting from this is about putting action towards your goals in a kind of reserved, tactile, just kind of slow and methodical way. Yes, I'm getting the feeling of taking things a little bit slowly, maybe being a little bit more humble about things. This is a very complex message I'm getting here. So I think you need to contemplate maybe slowing things down a little bit, being more tactile. Is that how you say it? Tactile? I don't know. Be a better tactician when it comes to achieving things, and be a little bit slower and be a little bit more pragmatic, and think about ways that you can maybe, slow and steady wins the race. We all know that. We all learned that in second grade, didn't we? Yes, the rabbit is going to get off to a huge lead, but he's going to get tired. He's going to sputter out. He's going to lose focus. Whereas the tortoise is, slow and steady, but he doesn't stop. He just keeps on moving. And that's kind of what I think of when I see this card right now. This is the tortoise, and it's asking you, how can you be more like the tortoise in your life? You've been the hare, it seems like, but have you been the tortoise? And in what ways can you bring more of that energy into your life to benefit you? I mean, that'll benefit you in great ways. Yes, it'll seem like you're going slower. Yes, like you're moving forward, but not very quickly. But if we're looking at life like a marathon, which is probably a better analogy than to say it's a sprint, then you're going to win the race. You're not going to burn out. You're not going to lose focus. You're not going to get tired. You don't have to take a nap. So that's something to think about, Leo friends. How can you be slower? How can you be more methodical? How can you be more practical and just always stay moving forward rather than, having this huge burst of energy and then just kind of collapsing, and then having this huge burst of energy and then collapsing. It doesn't work that well. I mean, it works, and it seems like you're doing great for a time, and then it's just like, oh, the tortoise just passed me again. You know what I mean? So that's something to think about at this time of Halloween of Samhain. But for the most part, Leo friends, I'm getting the feeling that there needs to be more self-love. There needs to be more, not to say that you're lacking in any way, but I mean in a way to improve your lives. I think more self-love, less validation from others. But you're on the right path. You're not afraid to look at things analytically and honestly. So you're doing great, Leo friends. Just a few little tweaks that you can make along the way to make your journey more like the tortoises than the hares, okay? So let's take a look. We asked the Druid Animal Oracle what message it had for my Leo friends at this time of Halloween and Samhain, and we've got, Adder reversed. Okay, so this card in reversed, it's about, replacing your desire to harm or to show dominance or to, replacing that desire with the desire to heal. And making that transformation is one of the biggest shifts you can make in your life. With the idea of like taking, as this applies to human beings and not snakes. Snakes are poisonous, right? But used in the right way, the venom of a snake can be used to cure illness and reverse the effects of poison, right? So this is kind of the reverse of a snake that's willing to harm. Now the snake is willing to heal. So rather than using your ego thoughts or your emotions to say I'm better than that person or I don't like that person, use your ego thoughts and your emotions to say, I don't agree with that person, but I respect where they're coming from. They're on a unique journey. What can I do to help them? And making that shift and doing that with yourself as well. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough at this, and this, so I'll never accomplish that and that and that. Instead of feeling or saying or thinking things like that, say, I'm not good at that, but I'm going to get better. I'm going to, work at it, and I'm going to eventually get so good at it that I'm going to be a professional, and I'm going to just be one of the best in my field. And it's that self-love that we talked about. It's a transformational shift that occurs within you to say, no longer am I going to be self-deprecating. I'm going to have self-love, and I'm going to bring the healing to myself and to others around me. And that's something that you need to think about, Leo friends. Try to X that out, snip that out. Any instances in your life where you feel like you've done harm to yourself or to others, think of that same situation and how you could bring healing to yourself and to others instead. And I think you're going to find your life transmute and transmorph into a whole different thing. Once you tip those scales from negativity to positivity, everything changes. So that's something to think about at this time of Halloween and Samhain. That is the reading, guys. I hope you guys got something out of that. If you did, leave a like. It lets me know that I did something right and that you enjoyed this video, so I appreciate that. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, put those in the comment section below. Love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you enjoyed this video a lot, then please consider subscribing. You don't want to miss out on all these videos, which I release all the time. And of course, if you want a personalized reading from me, then you can head on over to my Etsy shop. I'll put a link in the description below. You can check out all the variety of different readings that I offer over there to bring healing to you, okay, and to me. It's a healing process for everybody. All right, so that is the reading, Leo friends. It's going to be a month of self-discovery and self-love, I feel like. So tap into that energy and everything will be just great. All right, leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy taroting. Peace.